Hello, this is Michael from the Boardgames Chronicle. Welcome to another material on my YouTube channel. Today I would like to show you a preview of Hellas. This is the game by Sound of Drums and Karl Hauser is the designer. This will be the game, one of the 3 games, part of the Kickstarter, which should start pretty soon. I will actually leave the link to the Kickstarter preview page under this video. We'll have 3 games, Hellas and 2 more. I will not be focusing on them. Today I focus entirely on Hellas. Okay, let me take the cover. The box for Hellas is really nice, big, large, and contains a lot of elements. I will be using its rule book to go through the main rules so you can learn more about the game. By the way, a disclaimer, this is a preview of the game, but also the materials which you can see are from the preview example of the game. So the final version would be much nicer once hopefully the Kickstarter moves positively. Okay, so let me go through the basics. We have 2 factions here, Sparta in the orange and Athens in the blue. Here is Sparta and capital, here is Athens and capital. And both sides fight for victory. There is not something like a finite number of turns. There are 2 victory conditions. First victory condition is that if empire of your opponent reaches the revolution status on the stability track, then that part loses the game. Here is the stability track. You can see this. This is 0 stability, and then it can move to -9 and +9. The stability track will have some impact on the battles. Let me just quickly go through this. -1 combat value in each battle, -2, -3, and then revolution end of game. +1 combat value in each battle, +2, and then +3 combat value in each game, and +1 victory point for the golden age. So first way to win is to force your opponent to revolt, and the other second way to win the game is to reach 10 points, 10 victory points. Here we have victory point track. For the shorter games you can play to 9 or to 8. It's depending how long would you like to devote for the game. There is a flexibility in this. There is no set time when this conflict takes place, but we can safely assume it's around first or second war between Athens and Sparta. So first or second Peloponnesian War. What we can see on the map are first of all hexes. Just note that we have hexes here, which allow us for the appropriate movement management. And except for Sparta starting positions here and Athens starting position here, I put those positions more or less how they can be used. In the setup rules, you will see that there is some flexibility, but let's not go into this for time being. We have also Sicily independent. Here are the units, the land unit and the fortress, and here we have the eastern countries, eastern cities, Abydos, Pergamon, Milet. They all have a fortress. And here we have Rhodes with 2 legions. You will also observe on the map that the whole map is divided into provinces. Here you can see the province of Laconia. You control the province if you control all the hexes with resources. These resources will go through them in a moment. So for example, as you can see, Laconia is controlled by the Spartans. So we move their control marker here on the red. Yeah, the red shows us how many provinces particular player controls. The blue shows us how many islands. Let me show you an example. That way will mean that the Athens control one island. What else do we see on the map? Yes, we see the resources. We have a pretty nice player aid for resources. Here are the resources. The resources will be giving us two things. First of all, the money. So we'll be gaining gold each and every turn, but also they will be a prerequisite for some important things. I will go to them in a moment. On the map, you also see the warriors. Yeah, that's what I said. The triremes, trade posts. Trade posts control particular hex, but also allow to get us the money from it. And we have also the rough seas that depicts how far the Sicily is. Each hex is usually one movement point, but those are 5 movement points. So it's 1, 2, plus 5, plus 5, yeah, to move here. Yes, we have also the actions here. We'll be going through them. You might think it's a kind of a random. No, it is not. It just looks like this. We'll go through how we execute the actions. Here we have a supply. Supply is counted by the number of the yellow. Here they are, yellow resources controlled by a site. And this is more or less what we have on the map. We have two more things, the turn order. At the beginning of the turn, we determine the turn order by seeing who is first in the military advancements, then in the fleet advancements, then who has a larger gain per turn, and so on and so forth. And now when we talk about gains and both sides, let me just show you the player aid, or sorry, player sheet. Here they are, one for Athens, one for Sparta. They are different. The common thing is the income, where we can mark how much money we earn. And we will be counting this in a moment using the resource display. I will help you with this in a moment. Now we have the possibility to create fleets and armies, 3 fleets for Athenians, 2 armies for Athenians, and vice versa, 3 armies for Spartans and 2 fleets. What is army? Is a gathering of more than 1 unit. So if you have, for example, 2 units in the capital, you need to replace it with army, and we'll have a standees. Let me just find out. Yeah, this is a standee. We put here the army, and we put the units here. So yeah, the army is more than one unit. What else do we have on the player sheet? We have a startup. So 1 fortress in Sparta, 4 trading posts, 2 ships for legions, for units, 100 treasure, and stability on +1. And this is the Athenian setup: 1 fortress in Athens, 4 trade posts, 3 ships, 3 units, 80 talents, -1 stability. Important when you place the initial trade posts, you need to place as close to the capital as possible, not using the water, so the straight line. So there is not too many decisions to be made. I think Athenians can choose this, or this point, and the Spartans can actually move this here, something like that. It's pretty decently planned. So now, how to evaluate the income? Yeah, this will be marking the income like 22 per turn. For this, we need one more display, and this one more display is here. This is a beautiful display of all the resources. Let me just try to make some space here so it can be closer to you and you can see it in the detail. So what do we have here? Here we have all the resources grouped. These are the army supply resources. This is the, I think, iron which will be needed for phalanx building. Here are also the resources needed for some particular technologies. We'll have also technologies. Let me put them here immediately so you can see them together. Yeah. Technologies will be here. Sorry, Athenians, need to move you a little. So let me look at the example of Sparta from the beginning of the game. They control a couple of resources. So they control Pylos, that is stone, so we mark it that way. They control here. By the way, the Pylos means this is a city and this is a rural space. They control the width. They control another stone. So we move here. They control some precious resources, and we can always quickly change what kind of resource this is. This is salt. Okay. And they control that resource, which is copper, and copper goes here. So at the beginning, they start with 4 trading posts, and they control actually 4 trading posts plus fortress in the capital. So they have 5 spaces with the resources, and then we calculate the income: 4, 9, 16, 22. So on this sheet, you would put this at 22. This is really nice from the economic standpoint of view. And at the beginning, each and every nation starts with the technologies at 0. So we are here, and let me put it for Sparta only. And then we can progress using the appropriate actions. I will go to the actions in a moment. We have military, fleet, economy, and culture tracks. In order to progress, we need to choose a develop action. This is the cost to enter the first space, in particular era, phase. You can see that this phase 1 lasts 3 moves, then we have 2 moves, 2 moves, and 2 moves. Important to note, in one single develop action, you can move only once. I think I am naturally going now to the action description. Now, how to read it? Let me say that I do the develop action as Spartans, and I can move on all the tracks where I have all the prerequisites fulfilled. Here, to move on to the phase 1, the prerequisite is I need to be a city-state. I am not a city-state at this moment in time, so I cannot move here. Fleet, I need to have those 2 resources, and those resources are here they are, wood and wool. Here I need to have stone, and I have stone, so I can move with Sparta here, paying 6, and here I need to be a city-state. Yes, so I cannot move here. So so I can move here, yeah. So I'm becoming a city-state, but I'm checking the conditions for progressing on the develop action before moving. So I cannot simply say, oh, I moved to city state in this develop, so I can immediately move here. No. So in this develop action, I would move here, I would pay 8, and the next develop action, I would be already able to move here, move here, move here, provided I have money. I would like to draw your attention to something additional. Here in culture, you can see the modifiers. So that means that because we entered the city-state level at the beginning of the city-state, our the people in our city-state are really eager to fight. So each combat gives us +2 CV. So now in each combat, not each unit, each combat will have +1 for stability combat value and +2 combat value for culture. Pretty nice bonus for each and every combat. What else shall we understand in this track? Here are the costs of the fleets. So you see the better fleet, the more it costs. Here are the specifics of the units, and here the fleets. So warrior normally has 1 combat value and can move 3. But the cavalry has 3 combat value and can move 4. The galley has only 1 combat value, 3 movement. The astronomy gives us a really nice ship with 3 combat value and 7 movement points. At the end, we again have the golden age, which gives us victory points. And remember, 10 victory points, or 9 or 8, depending how long you would like to play, gives you possibility to be closer and closer to victory. Interestingly, as you can see, we are going through the times where people are not so willing to fight, -1, -2, -3, and then they are again eager to fight. When we go for empires, they are not so eager. When civilization, they are again eager. Nice observation. We need this iron to move to next level of the sailing. I think that's all for the technologies which I wanted to show to you. Let me move them here. They might be still useful, I think. Okay, other than that, what should we learn? We should learn about the actions. So let's go one by one. Move action. Move action allows you, let me do some cleanup here. So we have the guys properly placed. Let me do like this. I will move. So the move action allows you to move all the units on the map which can move. So as we know from the technology part, the warrior has 3 movement points, the galley has 3 movement points, so we can potentially do following things. That guy goes 1, 2, 3. He will be taking over this resource later on. Let me show you something. Because those guys were together here, that guy can embark. This is how we show embarkment, and then can sail together. 3 hexes. We cannot disembark them yet. That can potentially sail away, and those guys can move 1, 2, 3. And now, who can set up the trading post, both the legion and the trireme or galley or simply the ship, depending on whether the hex is contested or not. Because it's important to note that this is a friendly hex, this is the neutral hex, this is the enemy hex, and something like this is a contested hex. In this game, the battle is not automatic. You need to perform the action. So we had the move. After the move, let me jump, maybe not chronologically, to the attack. Attack means that if the hex is congested, I'm declaring the battle. In battle, we don't have any combat resolution tables. We don't have a die. It's automatically resolved. I really like it. How do we do it? We tally the combat value of both sides. At this moment in time, let's say the Spartans wants to attack the Athenians. Spartans' combat value is, first of all the units in the hex. This is 1 galley, this is 1. The bonus is for technology. They were here in culture, so +2. And the bonus is for stability, +1. This is 4. So the Spartans have 4. The Athenians have 1 and -1 for stability, 0. How do we inflict the losses? In order to inflict a loss, we need to, for each 3 combat values, we inflict 1 loss. So in such case, we would have the combat value for Spartans were 4, so they inflict 1 loss. The combat value for Athenians were 0, so they do not inflict the loss. And that's all. This is how the battle is resolved. The trade post has combat value 0, so in such case, during the attack, it will be simply flipped to the Spartan trade post. Very effective, very effective way of taking over the enemy's pieces. And this, the fortress, is a special case. In order to destroy the fortress, you need to have 6 combat value. But the fortress itself, when attacking or defending, inflicts 5 combat value losses. That means simply that if we, for example, have, let me assume this. Yes, let me do the example like that. Let's assume that this is the Spartan attack on Athens. Spartans have those 2 guys, and they have, let's say, developed here with that way. This is as per the rules, because the kingdom is needed for hoplites. So they have hoplites, each of them 2 combat value. They have kingdom +2 combat value, and they have 0 for stability. So they have 2 + 2 and +2, 6. 6 means that they destroy this fortress, and the fortress attacks with 5 and inflicts only 1 hit, because you need 3 hits to inflict a casualty on the enemy. So this would be the result of the battle. You see, this how to say, the durability of the units is not growing with the levels. Their hit power is growing. You always eliminate enemy when you inflict 3 combat value, or in case of Fortress, 6 combat value. So we have move and attack done. The develop we've seen. The develop allows us to move on each end of those 4, provided prerequisites are fulfilled. So for example, here wood and wool, here the stone, here we need to have a city-state to move forward. Yeah. Here we have some bronze. Here we need to have a kingdom and so on and so forth. Pretty nicely done. For those to move, we need to have a luxury resources. And by the way, the first time we acquire each of those luxury resources, our stability moves on positively. And each time we move on culture or economy track from phase to phase, from 0 to 1, from 1 to 2, we also move on the stability track. Important to know. But we'll be also losing the stability. In many cases, we'll be losing stability when we lose the control of the province. This is example of losing the stability of the province because one of the hexes is contested. We'll be losing, of course, when our capital is raised. Actually, in order to take over the capital, we would still need to build the trade post when it would be full. It's not very. So we have move, develop, attack. Now build. Build allows you to, surprise, surprise, build it. And you can build in each and every of your fortresses. Here we have the Spartan fortress. So the fortress on land, inland, can only build the warriors. The fortress here could build both either warriors or can build also the ships. Yeah, that would be the build action. And you can also upgrade the trading post to the fortress. Here we have really nicely summary of the build action. You can see the trade post costs 15, depending on the phase, 15, 15, 20, 25. And this touches the economy development. So if in economy we are in the first phase, it costs only 15. In the second, 15, then 20, 25. The cost for fortress or port, because upgrading here is a port, costs 25. It's pretty costly, as you can see. And building the unit costs 8, 10, 15, 20, and ship also grows pretty rapidly. So we have move, build, develop, and attack. Trading, very simple action. We simply place trading posts wherever you can. Paying, here trade post 15, for example, if you are in epoch 1. At this moment in time, for example, the Athenians could potentially put a trading post here and a trading post here. Yeah, so they would pay 30. That's how this action would look like. The armistice in a moment. The stability, we can pay for stability to increase it. It's usually pretty costly. You see, 50, 60, 70, 80 to move stability 1 space, but sometimes it's make or break. I forgot about monuments in the build action. Depending on the cultural development, you can also build a monument. You can build 3 monuments in total during the game, and each of them gives you 1 victory point, and each of them should be in different city. But be careful, if enemy destroys your monument, you are losing the stability. It's pretty sturdy, the monument, 8 combat value, but still they can do it. Armistice is a very interesting action and a very interesting mechanic. Here it is, yeah, the armistice. It's usually done by the weaker side. Let me just double check if I have everything correct. Yeah, it's usually done by the weaker side. They can see, okay, we are being overwhelmed by the enemy. What shall we do? They can ask for the armistice. And in order to ask for the armistice, they need to offer 30 or 40 or 50, depending on the cultural development, money. If the opponent accepts this, for the next 3 turns, both sides cannot enter the hexes and create the contested hexes, but the existing contested hexes can actually stay. So there is no possibility to create new places for the attack. But if the side which was offered refuses the armistice, they will be losing, if I remember correctly, 2 stability. So that will be all the actions, and I'm just checking about any other rules which can be useful for you. I think that should be it for the brief overview of Hellas. So as you can see, we have pretty interesting interactions in many dimensions. We have, of course, the military dimension, move and attack. We have the resources and the money which are coming each and every turn. We have pretty, let's say, reasonable, not too complex, not too easy technology tree. We have very interesting armistice mechanic, and we have really great game. Which I hope will pretty soon see the production. So that is all from me for today. If you like this video, please give thumbs up. If you'd like to see more materials like this, do not hesitate and subscribe to this channel. I will definitely be back with some more information about this game and of course about the publication of the whole 3 positions. Thank you for today and bye. See you soon.